Welcome. Take It Up with Jessica Lee. I'm here with Daniel DeVall, who's the Director of Sales at Coupa Software. Well, in particular, the Coupa Pay business unit. Welcome to the show, Daniel.
Thanks for having me, Jessica. I'm excited to be here and looking forward to the conversation.
Yes, well, thank you for being on the show because I would love to learn more about how the Coupa Pay platform is enabling this more efficient purchasing to pay process. What's innovative?
Yeah, great question, Jessica. You know, the industry in terms of the procure to pay segment has really been focused on helping organizations better manage how they source, contract, and do their procurement functionality. And Coupa has come to market with the first platform to do everything from sourcing to payment. And so what's unique is in one unified system, you can really handle an entire business process that really eliminates a lot of the risk and compliance issues and friction of having to really manage multiple processes through multiple different systems.
Yes, I think that the more you can make it cohesive, the better it is for the customer experience, right? And you came
Absolutely.
from the banking industry. So you have this domain expertise of what it is like in the fintech area, and now you're in the actual software vendor space. Tell us about this this trend that you're seeing in the transformation of how people are doing a lot more banking online, and how the technology is enabling a better CX.
Absolutely. Yeah, as you mentioned, I spent a large part of my career as a banker, and bankers are so important to organizations in terms of managing their treasury functionality and their capital structure. And the thing with banking is it's a highly regulated industry, and so where banking, I think, really was kind of lacking in terms of innovation and creating unique tools for their customers, really helped emerge what's now become a software segment, as you mentioned, fintech, to really become an enabler of helping the banks become better partners with their customers. And so, as you mentioned, I found an opportunity, having supported many fintechs as their banker, to really kind of converge these two industries to really service the end user, right? And how can we make it more applicable and easier for things like finances and payments to be more efficiently run through organizations, which really frees up their time to be more strategic and not having to deal with manual processes that really put risk on the organization itself.
Maybe you can share an example, because a lot of us are now shopping online, working at home and doing all kinds of online transactions. Walk us through how it's a lot more convenient and efficient.
Absolutely. And one important difference is, how we as a consumer have so many great tools at our fingertips, whether it's paying online with credit cards or having virtual accounts or digital wallets like PayPal. The B2B world and the business world is far beyond in terms of just having adopted a lot of these consumerizations of how we transact. In fact, over 50% of B2B payments are still done with paper checks. So what's really held back businesses is a lot of this legacy type of infrastructure that is completely manual, right? When you send a check out in the mail, you have no idea when it actually gets to your end recipient to pay them. And so it creates a lot of bottlenecking, a lot of disintermediated systems. And because it's not digital, it creates a lot of friction in terms of the process. And so at Coupa, what we've done is we've tried to embrace a lot of companies' abilities to transact electronically with our cohesive business spend management platform. And when you tie it all together, it allows you to do things like, pay with credit card at the point of purchase orders being approved, or an invoice being processed, or helping suppliers get a check in electronic format as a digital check directly to their email. And so what we've tried to do is tie components of purchasing with the payment method to help enable our customers to essentially digitize their experience from end to end.
What is the sweet spot for you then? Is it the enterprise level or small businesses? Where do you go?
Yeah, great question. I mean, Coupa as an organization has really, I think, developed its platform over the last 14 years. And what we like to refer to as our community is what really, I think, collaboratively brings both our buyers and our suppliers into one network. And so Coupa typically works with companies probably, 100 employees or larger. But there are so many industries that have a spend management need, especially in our current times of the pandemic, right? CFOs and controllers and procurement organizations want to have more visibility into purchasing and who they're doing business with and being able to maintain their supply chain health. And so we really work with a vast variety of both segments of industry as well as size of companies. And I think what a lot of our customers see the value in Coupa is, right, because you can't outgrow Coupa, we work with organizations, multinational, large manufacturers, technology companies, to emerging, right, folks who are really trying to prepare themselves to go public or take a drug to market, and really just want to now essentially automate through hypergrowth. So for Coupa, I think the beauty is you can't outgrow Coupa. And I think that's where that dependency and trust that we earn from our customers becomes even more prevalent.
Daniel, I'm wondering what you see the future innovation, the evolution of this digitalization of fintech.
Yeah, great question. And I think where the evolution has come is organizations try to bite off their digital transformation in chunks. And they kind of start with one process. Maybe I need to automate how I, run my AP department, or maybe I need to automate how I manage my purchasing and contract sequence and how I source supplies from different suppliers or vendors. And I think the evolution has come to where, what Coupa software delivers is a way to manage everything under the sun, where you can now embrace from how you source and really source with a broader sense of customers. So really sourcing together to really drive a leverage behind your buying power, to giving you a way to interact with suppliers and not just a single processing mechanism. How can I have almost ubiquity of way? If the supplier wants to send me an invoice via text, if they want to send me an invoice electronically, giving optionality is where the evolution is going, right? No one just wants to say, I have to go to one place and do one thing one way. And so what it's really helped is turning this kind of last mile of the process, the payment mechanism, into a really strategic tool where you can now use it as a mechanism to get your suppliers or get your employees to interact in a more electronic way. So it's creating strategery around how different departments within an organization are actually collaborating together. And the thing I love with Coupa is we work with IT, finance, accounting, procurement, treasury, and you're seeing these folks now look and see how they can work together to accomplish their objectives, and leveraging this powerful tool like Coupa to give them that visibility, control, and strategic opportunities.
I can see the appeal of that. As an Amazon shopper, I'm aware that I can go online shop at other places, but it's so much more convenient to just be able to open up that app and be able to search for whatever item, see all kinds of suppliers and purchase it. It is so convenient that definitely, if that's the experience you're providing on the business side, I can see that being a high demand value.
Yeah, and just to expand on that point, I mean, you are absolutely correct, right? The simplicity of the design, the way you can really drive an adoption of a process, all starts with the end user, right? So if you say, we have to push this new change management onto an organization, if there's any friction, if there's any impeding how they can just do a natural flow, like go buy something, it's going to have users fall off, and they're not going to embrace this change. And that's what I love about Coupa is we're so focused on the end user, right? No one has to go into some portal and think about how they can go purchase. Like, as you said earlier, we try to create a very Amazon-like experience where literally you go in a search bar and can search for anything from services to items, to office supplies. No matter what, it's that user experience that really makes the simplicity of how you purchase. Yet on the back end, there's so much complexity. You know, how you're making sure you're buying against a contract and working with a supplier you have under contract to, you know, it's applicable against the budget, right? Making sure you have enough funds under your budget to purchase something like this. And I think it's all those types of interdependencies with a really easy user experience that drives that adoption of change that a lot of organizations, when they think about digital transformation, just really cringe because they know that it's all about the end user.
Wonderful. I appreciate you being on the show to talk about the innovation in purchasing to pay management. So great job on creating value for the business to business community.
My pleasure. And Jessica, it's been wonderful speaking with you today.
There you have it. Check it out with Jessica Lee, Daniel DeVall from Coupa Pay.